achieved something. So this is very little. This is not big idealism. It's a very apolitical thing.
Nearly 20 years ago, Marvin Wilson was convicted of fatally shooting a police drug informant. His sentence, death by lethal injection. It was a penalty the U.S. Supreme Court soon afterward found to violate the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment when imposed on the mentally retarded. But Texas courts have judged Wilson as not mentally retarded, even though psychologists measured his IQ in the bottom 1 percentile, about equal to that of an average 5-year-old child.
Standard used to determine if he has mental retardation is based on unscientific factors. So the whole issue has been getting the courts to confront that.
Wilson's lawyer says that unlike other states, Texas courts have accepted a definition of intellectual impairment that's too vague.
The state didn't do anything other than say, well, he was able to have children, he was able to have a job here and there, so he can't have mental retardation.
Texas is one of 33 states, along with the federal government, which still maintains the death penalty. And in this building, Texas has carried it out more than 480 times in the past 3 decades. That accounts for 1 in every 3 U.S. executions. A recent poll indicated more than 70% of Texans approve of capital punishment for murder. Yet in step with the national trend, the past decade has seen a steep decline in Texas death sentences, much less executions.
I think that really shows the shifting climate on this issue, both that prosecutors and juries can accept alternatives to the death penalty and that, protect society.
But barring a last-minute stay by the Supreme Court, that acceptance would come too late for Marvin Wilson. Tom Ackerman, Al Jazeera, Huntsville, Texas.
Michael Williams takes his last walk as a free man into a New York courthouse. The 39-year-old Muslim man faces sentencing after being convicted of second-degree assault, accused of hitting another man with a handheld loudspeaker who was verbally attacking a group of Muslim women on January 11th of 2011.
I had many witnesses that testified that the man assaulted me first, and I reacted simply out of fear, not knowing what else he was going to do to me in self-defense,
Williams, a married father of 2 from Massachusetts, was in New York for a Palestinian freedom rally. He says he noticed a group of women being harassed with curses and threats by a man named Joe Kenny near a pizza parlor. Witnesses say he drew Kenny's attention away from the women by blasting the bullhorn, shouting, "Free Palestine." Kenny followed him into the street.
He was really mad, and he would say, if you say that one more time, I'm going to punch you in the face. And Michael walked further, and then the guy followed him for the 3rd time, and then he punched him.
Kenny punched
Michael, yeah.
In all, 6 women testified in court that Kenny threw the first punch and that Williams was only defending himself. But the Muslim women who watched the whole event in horror say New York police made up their minds shortly after arriving on the scene.
2 police officers came to our side, and they were very rude to us, and they seemed like they didn't even want to hear our story, as if our story meant nothing to them.
Did they take notes?
They did not take notes. They did not take our names. They did not take our numbers.
During the Williams trial, the prosecutor was allowed to use political and terrorism innuendos that had nothing to do with the case, at one time asking the women if they were martyrs for Palestine. The jury acquitted Williams of first-degree assault but convicted him on second-degree assault, a charge that was attached to the case at the last minute.
The prosecution would not have been able to get the verdict they got if they didn't resort to the, bad faith, malicious tactics that they resorted to in that courtroom. Everything from alleging that our witnesses were lying because of their political beliefs, because of their religious beliefs.
The Manhattan District Attorney's Office denies infusing racial and religious bigotries into the case. Facing up to 5 years in prison, William pleaded for mercy but maintained his right to defend himself. The judge sentenced him to 3 months behind bars. After serving his 90-day prison sentence, Michael Williams will then be on 5 years of probation. The court has also ordered him to take 6 months of anger management courses. And in what his lawyer described as the ultimate irony, Michael Williams will have to pay Mr. Kinney more than $2,000 in restitution. His lawyer says she plans to appeal. Gary Anthony Ramsey, Press TV, New York.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you for joining us.